Okay, so for my video today, I'm doing it on my iPhone, and excuse my voice because I went to a football game and I totally lost it. It's totally gone. I've been sounding like this all weekend, so there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, so this is a video I've been wanting to do for a really long time. It's a virtual tour of my bookshelf in college. I did take pretty much all of the books that I own with me to college just because I really, really like them and I would feel lost without them. So here we go. Here's my room. Ignore the mess. This is my first shelf and it's just basically my favorite shelf. This is just my glasses case. Let's ignore that. These are my Harry Potter books organized by, the first one and then the last ones. I lent, okay. I let a friend borrow my first book and I never got it back and she moved, so I'm never going to get it back. Which is really, really upsetting because it was like, I don't know, it's just like it's an incomplete set now, which really makes me upset. But hopefully I'll get a new first book for, I don't know, my birthday or something. So, This is just a pot that I decorated and I have for my pens that I use and stuff. And this is my lotion. These are all the plays that I've been in or I've been a part of or that I've read. Get Smart, we did that. I was in that. Flowers for Algernon, I was in that. Macbeth did it. I was in that. That was probably my favorite one. This is my, Cliff Notes Macbeth. That's not actually a play. Sense and Sensibility, I did that. And this is just the bottom is just my book about the presidents because I love them. They're like my favorite. They're the coolest. Okay, my second shelf. I have to probably stand on something in order to be able to see this. Oh, we're good. We're good. My second shelf is just another pot. I don't even think it has anything in it. Does it? Oh, it does. It has hair stuff. I didn't even know that. Good to know. Okay. It's just all of the books that I really love, like my series and like my go-to books. Obviously The Hobbit, I think I've had this for a couple years, so I'm not getting rid of it, and I like the way it smells. A Drowned Maiden's Hair, which I really, really love. You should read it if you haven't. I did listen to a book on tape, and it was really good, so if you don't want to just read it, listen to the book on tape. They do a good job. Princess Academy, because who am I kidding? This is my favorite book when I was 12, and I just always wanted to make this movie and be this girl. So that's why. Then I have The Goose Girl, which I also really, really love. I love the covers for Shannon Hale's books. She always has really pretty covers. I like the distressed look of it, you see? And then the illustrations are really pretty in the cover. This is actually a book that I took from my high school library that I just never returned. And I kind of want a nicer copy of this book because it's one of my favorites. It's about Merlin. And I'm such a nerd that I really love this series. This is the only one I've read in the series, though. As soon as I find the other ones, I'll read them. But I really like this book. Also, I kind of like the cover because it just looks so... It just fits the time period and it just makes sense. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I stole this from my mother. It's amazing. It's an advanced reading copy because my aunt used to work at Borders, so she would get us those kinds of copies. This is an amazing book about World War II. It takes place on the island of Guernsey, which is in the Channel. And they were occupied by the Germans. Although the Germans never made it to England, they did make it to Guernsey, where a lot of English people were living. So it's a really good book. You should read it. My Pride and Prejudice copy that I absolutely love. Because it's, Jane Austen and it's Pride and Prejudice, so. Wuthering Heights, Emily Bronte. I love this illustration as well. I really like the pages in these books because they're the kinds of pages that are bumped or they are uneven, so it's rough edged, but I like it. The next book is one of my favorite books that I own. It is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and it is a special collection Penguin Classic Deluxe Edition book, and they do it specifically for the cover. I'll just show you. It is a gorgeous book. Look at that. Just look at it. It's so pretty. The back as well. And even the spine is just really, really pretty. The inside cover and the back flap. You can see the cover design illustration is done by Ruben Toledo, and they have a whole bunch of these books, like just classics that have different authors or different illustrators have decorated covers for. So that's one of my favorites just because it's so gorgeous. Okay, the next book I have is my huge The Count of Monte Cristo because it's one of my favorite books. Definitely one of my favorite movies. I used to watch it all the time with my grandpa when I was little. It was like he's the kind of person who likes these stories, the swashbuckling and the damsel in distress kind of stories, and the hero, the tortured hero. So it's one of my favorite books, and I just really like it. Alexander Dumas is amazing. I'm a nerd, it's true. Okay. This is my ta-da, Heroes of Olympus. I don't own the Percy Jackson series. My brothers technically own them, so I didn't bring them because I didn't want to steal from them. So I do own the Heroes of Olympus series, and I can't wait for House of Hades. It's coming out, and I'm going to pre-order it, and it's going to be amazing. Okay, obviously The Lost Heroes, Son of Neptune, Mark of Athena. If you don't know what those are, then I don't know why you watch this channel, because those books are amazing. Okay, The Host, obviously I love The Host. A Christmas Carol, my grandma every year gets something for her grandkids and sends it to them. And this year we got our own personal books of A Christmas Carol with absolutely gorgeous illustrations in it. I'll take it out real quick. So this is the cover of it. And it also has a Christmas tree. Illustrated by Robert Ingpen. By Charles Dickens. I just really like it. It's just gorgeous. The back illustration. And it has these kinds of illustrations all throughout the book. You open it up, and it's just got pages on illustration. And it's just a really beautiful book. And I really like it, and I read it every Christmas. Next is obviously my Book Thief book because, hello, movie's coming out. Had to bring it. The front. This is, again, one of my favorite books. I just love the cover. This is a scene in the book. The back. And if you've read it, obviously you know what the inside looks like. It has some very interesting, like, formatting, which I love. This is, like, my last shelf, which is just miscellaneous and a little box that I write and keep letters. Just a couple of books that I really like that I had to stand on end because, or like put out the end of the shelf because I was afraid they were going to fall over. The bottom two are a series, and the next one I think is Emerald. Something Emerald. I don't know when it comes out, but I'm excited for it. It's interesting. It keeps me entertained, so it's not so bad. The top book is one of my favorites. I read this in like 7th grade. Paul Gallagher, Mrs. Eris Goes to Paris. And it's just about a lady in England who wanted to go to Paris so badly, and it's like the end of her life. And so she saves up enough money and she goes to Paris. As you can tell, it's like a super old book. I like taped it together. The pages. I just love these books though because they just have so much character in them. So I keep it right there. My Roald Dahl books, the ones that I can't live without. The Witches I read in 4th grade. Boy, I just love because it's hilarious. And the BFG, it's just one of my favorites. Emma, another one of my favorites. I also like this cover because it's pretty and it's pink, and I love pink. So, you know. Gideon the Cut Purse. I love this book because of the cover as well, and it's just a great book. Another time-traveling book. I really like those. I like the cover because it's interesting. It doesn't say the actual title, it's just his face. And the back is another face. And it's just a really good book. It doesn't have illustrations inside, but it's an interesting kind of cover. All of my Georgette Heyer, which I'm absolutely in love with. Phoenicia. They all have these kinds of 18th century art on it, and it's just gorgeous. Or 19th century art, one of the two. Arabella, one of my favorites as well. The Corinthian, another good one. The Grand Sophie. This is my favorite of all of them. It is just my favorite. It is hilarious. Literally, I read it finals week, junior year, couldn't stop laughing, couldn't focus on anything. It was just great. This is my dead famous Elizabeth I and her conquests. I have an obsession with Elizabeth I. I don't know why. I just do. So I have a book about her. And it's really funny, and I like it. It's kind of like a kid's book. I got it when I was younger. And it's got funny cartoons and illustrations in it. It explains all about her lifestyle. It's pretty funny. And it's like educational for little kids. Okay. Next is my Mark Twain, Adventures of Tom Sawyer. It's a hardback. I like this. It's not the best cover, that I've ever seen. It's not the most creative, but I like it just because it's older and it has character and it's pretty. I think so. Anyways, How to Read Lit Like a Professor. This is one of my favorite books. I had to read it for my senior year of AP English, but I really enjoyed reading it. Like, it wasn't like a chore. I enjoyed it. Fahrenheit 451. This is a very well-read book. I don't know if you can tell. It's got, like, I don't know, dents in it. I don't even know how that happened. It's like the spine is all cracked. See more dents. I don't know how it happens. And I just have tons of notes in it. It's one of my favorite books. The cover is gorgeous too. Very original. I like the composition of it. Looks like it's burning at the edges. You see? And I had to read that for freshman year, and it was good. Flag is Our Father is one of the best books I've ever read, about the soldiers who lifted up the flag at Iwo Jima and their stories before, during, and after the war. So it's a good book. A historical novel. I like those. Amy Tan, The Joy Luck Club, obviously. Another one of my high school reads, but I really liked it. It wasn't a chore to read, so I have it with me. The Sound and the Fury was one of my favorite books that I've ever had to read. And I just love the cover as well. Everyone talks about how the first part of the book, Benji's section, is really confusing, but actually that was my favorite section. I thought it was really interesting, and I followed it rather well. And I just love the colors in this book and the characters. It's a good book. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, one of my favorite plays. We read this in my senior year. It's hilarious. It's also a really good movie. So if you have time, it's got the guy who plays Sirius Black. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I apologize. I know, I'm a terrible person. But he plays either Rosencrantz or Guildenstern. You never really know which is which. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, another one of my favorite books. Not such an interesting cover. Not really sure what it means, actually, to be honest. But another one of my favorite books. I enjoy it. Okay, Skullduggery Pleasant. This book. I can't even describe to you how much I love this book. It's such a funny book. It's such a British book. And I just love it. Look at the colors. It's about a detective who is actually just a man made out of bones. And it's hilarious. Also, the pages are like Cheeto orange. So you can't really say no to that. I mean, the actual pages aren't Cheeto orange, but they look Cheeto orange. And the illustrations on the cover and on the inside, you can kind of see just a little bit in there, are very cool. I just love it. Got it at Waterstones. Good book. I think it's a series. I never really finished it. This is just my favorite one. You should just buy it because it's hilarious and funny, and I love it. It's more like a middle school kid book, but I enjoy those, so judge me if you dare. Okay, this is Hitler's Canary, another historical fiction. One of my favorites as well. I don't think I brought a book that wasn't my favorite, to be honest. The cover is really pretty. Can you tell that I like pretty covers? Because I do. It's a really good book. about the occupation of Denmark during the Second World War. And it's about a boy who lives... Oh, my phone just got a text message. That's fine. It's about a boy who lives with his family in Denmark, and his best friend's Jewish, and he's not exactly sure what's going on. But it's a really good story. Has a happy ending, based on a true story, I think, from the author's own family. So, it's a good book. So yeah, that's my bookshelf. Oh, and then I have stuff on my Kindle. Okay, this is my Kindle. You can kind of see me videoing myself in here. Whatever. Let's open it up. Okay, books. These are the ones I have. Obviously, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. A lot of people really, really love this book, and I wanted to read it, but I'm a cheap college student, so I had to buy it on my Kindle. I'm not going to own a solid copy of it. Maybe I will eventually, but you never know. And then, obviously, my Graceling. I don't really have a lot of books on here because I just got this Kindle. Obviously, my Graceling books. This is the first one. This is the second one. This is the third one, or at least that's how I read them. I guess it doesn't really matter. You can kind of see the covers on here. Those are the only ones I have. And then, of course, my Book of Mormon because, you know, whatever. So, yeah, that's basically my bookshelf. I just did this video because I saw a couple on YouTube, and I really, really enjoy looking at people's bookshelves. So, I thought you might too. If you have a bookshelf, make a video, post it online, link me to it. I'd love to see it. If you like this video, don't forget to press the subscribe button, click the thumbs up button, and comment because I love hearing from people. Alright, that's it. Bye, guys.